Welcome this beautiful Sunday morning to Game Changers. I have a very interesting guest on the show today. Engineer Peter Njeru is the Managing Director of Riva Petroleum and is also the Chairperson of the Petroleum Industry Association of Kenya. Mr. Peter Njeru, welcome so much to the show.
Thank you very much, Purity. Welcome to Riva Petroleum office.
Tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Peter Njeru?
I'm a civil engineer in training from the University of Nairobi. I registered as an engineer while working with the Ministry of Transport and Works. I worked as an engineer for 9 years, got married while working, and after that, God has blessed us with 2 daughters, Wawira and Wangoi. My wife works with me in the business we founded in 1996 called Riva Petroleum. In addition, we do church work, where I assist in ministry. In some places they call me pastor. I'm also involved in charity work. I'm a trustee of a few Christian charities. I'm a vice president of the International Fellowship of Evangelical Students. I do real estate development. And basically enjoy motivational speaking and talking to people about Christ.
Tell us a bit about your family.
My family, my wife is called Dr. Ndoka Njagi. She is a pediatrician. We met while in our first posting in working in Nyeri. We have now been married slightly over 25 years. Our first daughter, Wawira, is a lawyer, and the second daughter, Wangoi, is doing engineering. I and my wife, talking of myself alone, I think I'm happily married, and I'm glad of the person that I met and chose to be my one and only wife for 25 years, and still counting.
Tell us about your journey of faith. How has it been this far?
My journey of salvation started when I was about 13, and I was in standard 6 in the 70s. And on that time, I just happened to be in a crusade and they were preaching. I opted to receive Christ mainly because I thought going to hell was not a good idea. But as soon as I became a Christian, I got some people who really encouraged me. So I was a bright student. So after passing my standard 7 and going to high school, I got mentors in high school. And then in the university, I was already looking like a mature Christian. So I was in Christian leadership in various forms. After which I have been involved in church different times as a deacon, an elder. Now I am working as an assistant pastor part-time because I'm just a volunteer. In Christian work, I have been chairman of Fellowship of Christian Unions Focus. Currently, I'm vice president, as I said, of IFES, a trustee of Nakuru Christian Professionals, among other things that I do for Christian work.
There's a very special story about how you met your wife. Tell us a bit about that.
First of all, it's interesting to note that we were both in the University of Nairobi. She was in medical school. I was in engineering. We actually never sat and met, although I saw her singing, but I didn't notice her. She was in a singing group then, and with her friends. Some 4 ladies were singing with her. And so we really never met. The CU, the Christian Union, was some big organization. We would go for trips. After we got married, we discovered we had been in similar events at the same time, but really we never noticed each other. When we graduated, we were posted to Nyeri, where we became, she was an intern and I was an engineering apprentice. I was a trainee engineer working with a company that was tarmacking a road there. So it was during the focus, Christian fellowships, and taking one another to church that we kind of became acquaintances. But about 4 years later, 3 years later is when I thought she was the right person for me, as I had been praying and thinking about who to marry. And 4 years later, we got married. So we got married 4 years after university.
What about her stood out? You knew her for such a long time, and you finally asked her to marry you. What about her stood out?
Actually, what happened is that she was a very serious lady. She was a very committed Christian. At the time that we were just associating, I used to imagine I would marry somebody else. But that relationship did not go far, and it didn't even develop. So when I came to think about who is it that I would really want to spend the rest of my life with, it was a Christianity, a seriousness as a Christian, and generally in life, outlook to issues, and appearance. I liked, she looked beautiful in my eyes, and I think she is.
The petroleum industry is famous for cartels. How does a believer sustain themselves in an industry like that?
Yeah, when you talk of cartels in the industry, first, as a chairman of Petroleum Industry Association of Kenya, and having come into the industry from a very small beginning, a company that we founded using cooperative loan money. We were just distributors for one of the multinationals. We grew to become big resellers. Later on, we became fully French oil company that is now operating in Kenya and Uganda and Rwanda, and we still export product to Congo, DRC. When I look at it, there is no time when my capacity was hampered by the existence of a cartel. And I actually don't believe there is a cartel. What happens is there are so many barriers to entry. It is such a capital-intensive system. It requires a lot of concentration, so that survival in the industry is so difficult, not because of cartels, but because of the intricacies, technicalities, and limitations that exist in that industry. As a Christian surviving in that industry, actually it's one of the most straightforward industries to survive as a Christian. Apart from the transport sector, where people talk of a lot of corruption, which we have managed to stay without getting involved because of keeping all the rules. Our vehicles don't have worn out tires. If you see a Riva Petroleum truck, even after this interview, if you see its condition, it will have insurance, it will have a license, the driver will have his documents, he will be wearing his safety belt, he will have his tires in good condition. You can't overload tankers. We don't overspeed. They have the speed governor. So we never fall in trouble with the law. In terms of things like taxation and duty payment, we just pay duties as the product comes into the country and meet the NEMA requirements. And that way we don't have issues as a Christian. Of course, it's expensive to meet all the regulations, but it is more convenient, and as the saying goes, cheap is expensive. If you want to get into this industry and any other industry, start right. When we started our business, our first year of operation, we registered with the Revenue Authority. We started doing our tax returns. After a few years, I was appointed to be part of the regional committee. It is called the local committee for KRA, because my books and my relationship with KRA and our returns were showing that we were a serious small company at the time. And over the years, I have had fewer headaches and fewer sleepless nights worrying about taxation, worrying about not having an ETR receipt on my premises when we issue receipts to people, just by obeying everything. And then recognizing, as a businessman, there's something we deny, but it is the truth. The government is a 30% shareholder of your business. Pay our taxes and pay our bills. Then enjoy the rest of the money without apology.
In your view, what makes a man great?
3 principles about what can make a man great. In my view, there is to learn, to live, and to leave a legacy. You must live right and really support other people. You must show love. That is where social responsibility comes in. You must care about the less advantaged. You must have a relationship that is built on truth. Marriage is important. Loving the people of God. Yeah. And then leave a legacy. Not so much the money legacy. If it's there, it's good. But a legacy where when you are not there, everybody will say, he did it right. The children will say, Dad is my hero. Then people nearby, the villagers, will say, yeah, he was a good man. Then you are worth remembering. It doesn't help just to be born, to eat ugali, and then to die. I mean, that is a very shallow approach to the history of your life. That he grew into a 70, 80 kilogram man, and then he died. What else did he do? We don't know. That's not a life.
Engineer Peter, you have a great family, you have a great business. Have you made any mistakes throughout your life? Are there any things that if you were to go back, you'd do differently?
I would not say that I know of many mistakes. God has been gracious to me. The errors I would have made mistakes as a youth, like getting married in a kind of juakari manner. God was gracious to give me the patience. I did not. In business, none of them has cost me so much. But it is by God's grace and wisdom that I did not fall into them. One area I would say people should not make a mistake. I did not make it for long, but I made it initially, is to work so hard waiting for the future. I would say to everybody, the future is now. When you are working hard, live to the best of your capacity. Give to the people that you need to help, because that who you can help today will not be there to be helped tomorrow. The holiday you can take with your 2-year-old children and they swing in the showground, they will not do it when they are 10. They will be wanting something different. If you could give your wife an outing on her birthday when you have just a few hundred shillings in the pocket, do it. Because next time, she will not enjoy the 50th birthday as much as she would the 28th birthday. So just keep living and working and supporting people and making a difference as you go along. The future is already here. We live today. Keep something aside for tomorrow, but don't keep everything for tomorrow.
There you have it, guys. Engineer Peter Njeru was today's game changer on Tukuza. Look out for next Sunday's amazing game changer right here on Tukuza.